Welcome to Soapbox, where citizens of the Pikes Peak region take the microphone and sound off. If you have a comment, a complaint, a compliment, or a suggestion, you can appear on Soapbox. Just send an email to studio809podcasts@gmail.com. So in this episode of Soapbox, I'm Dave Gardner, and occasionally I sit down at the table to help somebody with an episode. His name is Mark Gabler. So Mark, thanks for sitting down in the studio for an interesting story.
Oh, well, I'm very happy to sit down and help you out in any way I can. But in this case, I guess I'm helping myself.
Yeah.
And my son. We're both authors on that book.
So this is a new novel called Empress Rising.
It's actually Chronicles of the Yankee Trader. It's right up there at the top if you look closely.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Chronicles of the Yankee Trader, and this is book one, Empress Rising.
Correct. There's actually 5 books. We're in the midst of doing the other 4. Recently, you remember there was a thing called Game of Thrones?
Yep.
Yeah, and the author behind that decided he was going to drop it after the 3rd book because he didn't know how to end it.
Okay.
I won't mention his name, but I'm sure everybody knows who he is. No, we've got the whole thing. It took us over a decade to create all this.
You got it kind of mapped out.
Oh, yeah, we've got it completely mapped out. We know exactly what all 5 books are doing. In fact, 2 and 3 are already in first edit, and we're going to be working on 4 and 5 in the near future.
And this is science fiction, we should say.
It's a science fiction novel.
However, if you're not into sci-fi, you may still be interested, right?
Yes. As I mentioned earlier before the broadcast, my wife is not a science fiction fan. She's a fantasy fan, and she's also a teacher, and she's been a librarian for over 20 years. In fact, our house could be labeled a library. She has so many books. But she doesn't like science fiction very much. She's read the novel, and she gave it rave reviews.
Well, have you put something in the book that might get somebody to want to ban it? Because that might be a good way to really bump your sales.
Bump our sales? I really don't think there is anything. This was written for YA through adult. There's little or no swearing of any kind in the book. In fact, we went out of our way to avoid it.
So family friendly?
Oh, very friendly, yes. The entire premise of the entire 5-book series is service before self. That is the entire premise of the entire series, is service before self.
So was that a big catalyst for you in doing the project? Was wanting to advance that?
I want to advance that idea simply based on my wife, Susan, because that's what she is.
Yeah?
She's a librarian. She's a teacher. She's got 2 master's and 5 bachelor degrees. She's highly educated, and she's always putting people before herself, especially her students. That's the way she's always been, and it's been literally the catalyst behind us creating this entire series.
So you and your son sat down a few weeks ago and decided you're going to start writing some books.
Actually, a few weeks ago, no. Well over a decade.
Years in the making.
My son, we started when he was just starting college, which was like, I believe, about 2008. And he went to college, and he followed in his father's footsteps in a way, because we're both very much into art and modeling and animation. We work with the programs frequently ourselves for right now just as a hobby, but he got extremely good at it. If you look at the back cover, the image of the main character, the Empress herself, is on the back cover. He made a 3D model of it, and that's where we got the basis for that image. It's actually a 3D model.
Cool.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's actually upgraded that. Now we have more images that we've done with AI that came with a program owned by Autodesk called Pixlr, but it has several programs with it. It has an editor, photo editor, it has a face swap, and it has what's called an AI generator. And we've come up with many different images of her and other characters that are involved in the story.
If I want to get a copy of Chronicles of the Yankee Trader, Book 1, Empress Rising, where do I find it?
Barnes & Noble has it on their website, Amazon.com, and several others. Most of the common ones where you can, get books online.
Easy to find. But we're sitting here in Colorado Springs. What if I want to sit down with the book this afternoon and start reading it? Am I out of luck?
No. We have some copies at Port Richards. It has a nice big poster of actually the cover and the Empress on the back of the book, and also at West Side Stories.
Cool.
They have them too. And if they need any more copies, they either contact me or they can go straight to Page Publishing. Really good people, though. They've been very much taking care of how this all goes through. I mean, they went through like 4 edits with me to make sure that the book sounded and that, dialogue was right. And we went through it very, very thoroughly. I was very pleased with their work.
Neat. Is it likely you might do an author talk and book signing or something like that here in town at some point?
If we sell enough copies, yeah, I have to buy the books too, but I get, of course, a discount.
Uh-huh.
We are based in Colorado Springs, and we like it here. That's why we're publishing from here. Getting back to this,
yeah,
people wonder, like, what is the story about? Well, in this first novel, it is about an empress. And if you read the back, she's a very reluctant one. She did not expect nor wanted to gain power. It was actually, I'm giving away a few things here. Her older sister was supposed to succeed their mother, who was the empress at the time.
Okay.
When the story begins, we kind of jump back and forth a little bit in time as to when she was younger and then back to when she's going to become in. And she doesn't really want to be, but she's literally left no choice. Because the only other person that could inherit is her other older sister, which nobody likes. Yeah, and nobody wants her to be an empress, really. So it's based around a society which is service before self. They do not have money. They don't really have what you would call an economic base, per se. Everything is service to the empire. Everyone serves the empire in their own way, whether it be as working in the fields as a farmer, working in the military, working in the manufacturing. It's all based on service to the empire.
Service to the empire almost reminds me of a bleak authoritarian society where everybody just goes to work and doesn't have any autonomy or freedom. Is that the kind of society you're talking about? I don't think it is. It sounds like it could be a beautiful society. Is it a beautiful place?
It actually, the only reason they have a large military is because, you get the idea from this, they've been at war for about 3,000 years, off and on.
Well, shoot. That's not beautiful.
It started with their rulers. Now, it kind of really kind of touches very much on this. It's a very touchy subject to them, is they were created. They were not born. They are not an evolutionary society. They didn't evolve. They were created to be nothing but pure soldier for a war that they had no interest in, but were forced to fight.
Wow. They were like test tube babies to be soldiers.
More like genetic manipulation of other species.
Huh. Wow.
And I'm just skipping a little bit. There was a revolt. They became independent. There's a saying in their society, they killed their gods. Quite literally, the people who claim to be their gods. And they've never had any knowledge of what we would be a monotheistic God, a single God.
Uh-huh.
And they never had any interest in it because they were too busy trying to survive. Because immediately after they started their independence, there was a lot of problems. Of course, there usually are. And then they get attacked by not one, but 2 other civilizations. So they've been fighting off for 3,000 years. They come in and attack, and then they disappear for a while, and then they come back and attack and disappear for a while. So their entire society being devoted to the empire is because of survival. But everybody has a good life. Like the soldiers, for example, the ones who are considered soldiers, troopers, they don't stay troopers all their lives. They go into other things, like about every so many months, like the ancient Greeks, they would go out and work the fields. And they'd stay there for 3 or 4 months. And they'd relax, recover, get some mental acuity back. And they'd be working in that society. And then others would take their place when they need to. And the reason they have empresses, and I'm not going to hit why, but there are 11 of them. Because because they've had to defend themselves so much. It was like in early France, when Napoleon wanted to take back French territory. And that's all he wanted at the beginning. So they fought little wars and they took back territory that was taken from them. Well, this society doesn't go the way of Napoleon. They only took the territory that belonged to them. the territories of where these all independents were under what they call their gods. And they just held those territories. But then they kept getting attacked. And when you get attacked that much, you're definitely going to defend yourself. Now, there's other parts in this I'm not going to ruin.
Good.
And people are saying, well, why do they have all the empresses? Well, read the book, you'll find out.
Is it chiefly about military conflict, or is there romance?
I can't really put in the relationships. You'll gather those as you read.
Okay.
But what I will say is that it is a society of being willing to be a part of it. It's not a matter of enslavement. Everybody in this empire wants to be there. They want to contribute. That's why it's service before self. That's the entire basis of their societies. Everybody serves. From the empresses, they are responsible. They must answer for their decisions.
Are they pretty damn happy?
I'd say, yeah. When you read the book, you will understand a great deal more about their society. The reason my wife said she liked it is she said the social structure, the characters, that's why it took so long to create. We wanted to make sure the characters were very deep and very well described and how things are done. Now, if you read the back cover, a lot of surprises come up they don't expect. And it ends up with this main character. Her name is Narava. We haven't had a chance to put a dictionary out of some of the terms we use, but it's easy to catch on to them as you go. But she's put in a position where she has to make some decisions that involve not only her civilization, but several others. This is an expanding story. The first book is mostly about her, but then you wonder, well, why do we call it Chronicles of the Yankee Trader? You find out.
All right, so here's a question. So let's say we read this book and we love it and we can't wait for the next one. What could prevent the rest of the series from being published?
Not selling enough of these.
I was afraid of that.
Well, we're
sense.
under a really good publishing company, but it's mostly self-publishing where I have to do, like if I was going to do a book signing, I would have to buy a batch of books and take it to a bookstore and set up a banner and do book signing on my own dime. It's mostly self-publishing, but they are doing advertising. They just released a press release. The ebook is going to be coming out probably, I believe, within a week, so people can get the ebook. And then they've got an advertisement out, which I'm having them make changes to on YouTube. It's not just YouTube; it's several platforms.
Whatever's out there that we can put links in the show notes for, we'll put links, so there'll be a few places we can point people to.
Oh, sure.
Soon.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble,
Sure.
It's out on those. It's Page Publishing, by the way. You might want to look them up.
Okay.
They gave me a very good deal. If this sells well enough, I can go to audiobook as well. I have a small website, so people can actually write in and say, okay, can you tell me some more about the rest of the series? And I'll say no.
But you can put the dictionary there when you get that.
Yeah, when we finish the dictionary, and put that in there. The rest of the series, we designed this to be expansive. It starts out with mainly her and her civilization, who they're fighting. I'm not going to spoil anything because you're going to find out. One name in particular shows up in the first few pages, Vox.
Okay.
And you'll find out about them. They're one of their primary opponents who they devour. But like if they take over a planet, they don't do it to conquer it. They don't take it to conquer all the people. They eat everything. They devour anything on that planet that can be eaten is eaten.
The Vox do.
Yeah, and then they move on.
They're
they
like
just
the Borg.
leave it. It's
like
a dead
the Borg.
world, so they just forget it and they move on to another one. They stand on an average between 15 and 20 feet tall.
Huh.
And they and other civilizations have to try to fight them. And these things are big. They look like a cross between like a rhinoceros, a bear, and a T-Rex.
Ooh, okay.
And they're vicious, they're nasty. They reproduce at will. They just literally barf up another version of themselves, and about 8 hours later, it comes out almost full grown, ready to fight.
Well, that's no fun.
Oh, well, yeah.
Sounds like a good movie. This could make a good movie.
We wrote this specifically to be produced on television as a series. We wrote it that way. I suppose that's why my wife said it's so descriptive, and why the lines. We followed the old adage. You remember Magnificent Seven, the movie, with Yul Brynner and stuff. Yeah. The way they scripted it, and also the way John Wayne always wanted to talk, because he wanted minimalism. He didn't want to. You see him. God knows how many movies where they just talk and talk and talk. The villain will stand up and he'll give a 10-minute diatribe before they kill him or knock him out.
Not a John Wayne thing.
No, we go on minimalism of conversation.
Okay.
So we made every word count, everything poignant, but we don't overstate.
Okay.
This is not like the Dune series where it takes 3 chapters to describe the stilt suit. Now,
okay.
Our descriptions are there, but we don't overstate how they work. We just take it for granted they do. And people are going to say, okay, I don't want a description of how their rifle works. I want to know that it shoots. That's basically it.
Okay.
That's why the book is actually shorter than it could be. It's only about 310 pages. And it's got, I believe, 13 chapters. And each chapter's name, each chapter title is very specific. That's why we took over 10 years to put all this together. That's why we have everything laid out already. So even if something happened to me or my son, thank God forbid, or both of us, somebody could literally pick up and finish the entire series themselves.
Is there anything else that you want our listeners to know about this novel?
Buy it. No, take the cover, for example. People found it very striking. My son took over a month to create that. He wanted to make sure, and all the covers will be very, very similar.
Okay.
So these covers will become familiar.
Check out the show notes for links to explore more, but it's easy to search for Empress Rising wherever you usually get your books. But also, if you're in Colorado Springs, man, you can support a local bookstore and pick it up.
Yeah.
Have it in your hot little hands today.
Yep.
Thank you, Mark Gabler, co-author with Anthony Gabler of Chronicles of the Yankee Trader, Book 1, Empress Rising. Thanks for listening to Soapbox. If you'd like to get on the soapbox in our electronic town square, send an email to studio809podcasts@gmail.com. Thanks for listening to Studio 809 Podcasts. We're a collective of podcasters in the Pikes Peak region, creating programming primarily for listeners in this region. Find your new favorite local podcast at studio809podcasts.com.